Hi everyone, it's Lehman with Lace Covered Skies. I'm here today to do a tutorial video on how I made these fabric pendants. I think they just look so cute hanging off of a journal with like a bead dangle because of the contrast of the fabric and the hardware and the beads. So I think it makes a really cool dangle. So that's what we're going to make today. Sorry, I'm trying to find a spot to put all this. Now, this is another one. So they're super fun to make, and I think the best thing about them is that it takes barely any materials and you get to use up all your little scraps. So I want to show you the ones that I've made, and it does not take a long time to make at all. I think the hardest part is probably tearing the fabric and then ironing it. So this is from a vintage fabric. This is from vintage fabric, like a vintage sheet. This is from pajamas. This is like maybe a Banana Republic pajama shirt or something like that. This is from baby clothes. I think this is my favorite. So just lots of fun things. This is a vintage sheet. And let me see if I can find my favorite one. Don't think I see it here. This is also baby clothes. These baby clothes are so cute that I find, well, I used to find them at the Goodwill outlet. I don't know if my Goodwill outlet is open anymore because of the pandemic and everything. But once it does open up again, I really want to go back because the little baby clothes have such cute fabric, cute print, and it's so small and it's perfect for this type of project. So I liked this. That's not supposed to show, but there's a number on it, so I thought that looked really cool. All right, so this is really easy to make, and I like to just zone out, put something on my tablet, and make a whole bunch of them at once. So the first thing you're going to need to do is tear fabric. That's the very first thing, because how big you tear the fabric is going to determine a lot of things. So these are all the strips that I have torn and ironed, and when I have time and I feel like just sitting there sewing, I just pull from this. As you can see, lots of different little pieces of material that are, I mean, they use so little fabric to make one that you can make a whole bunch out of just like a pant leg or something. So first you're going to cut the fabric. I like mine to be, I feel like this is my favorite size right here, which is 3/4 of an inch wide and about an inch, a little under an inch and 1/4. But of course you can make it any size you want. You can make it more square, you can make it longer, and I definitely want to experiment with that. You can make it like a bigger size. You could definitely make it this size and do just so many different things with it. So the way I do it is, let me pick a piece that's kind of short. Or I'll just pick Let's do this one. This is a vintage sheet. And after you cut or after you tear the strips of fabric, you're going to want to take either file folder, scraps of cardstock. Like I have this type of cardstock just sitting around that are leftovers from other projects. I'll take those and I'll cut them into the size that I want. Now, in this case, I happen to have a whole bunch of this size. So I just took a file folder, cut a couple strips, and came up with a whole stack of them. And I do a whole bunch at once so that I don't have to do it again. So again, I just leave this whole stack right here, this whole stack right here, and I just start sewing. But before you sew, you're going to have to wrap the fabric. So let's say we're doing this one. The fabric can be a little bit bigger than the cardstock or file folder because that gives it more of a cushiony feel and look when it's like coming over the edge and it's frayed. And that's another reason why it's good to tear it. And it's also good to iron it. You definitely don't have to iron it, but I iron all of mine. So you're going to start out by putting the file folder, centering it on the fabric to the edge. So it's going to be centered side to side, but it's going to go all the way to the edge, and then you're just going to start wrapping. And you can wrap it as many times as you want. The thicker you go, the more careful you have to be when you're sewing it. But so this is going to be, let's count it. That's 1, 2, 3 layers, 4 layers, and around 4 layers is when you can start looking for the pattern that you like. I don't like that, so I'll go one more time, and I like that pattern. So I'm going to stop there, and I'm okay with that pattern as well. So with this many layers, it's pretty good. I could definitely go one more, but I don't like there's nothing on the back there. So I can definitely stop here, and I'm going to go ahead and just snip it off. Now I'm not going to go to my sewing machine to show you guys, but what you would do is just sew, leave a little margin, like a very tiny margin, and just sew a square around it. And the side that I like better is the side that I'm looking at when I'm sewing. So once you sew it, you're going to end up with something like this. So you see how it's very close to the edge. So just sew a little square. All right, now let me know if you have any questions about those steps. It's so simple to do. And once you just start working on a whole bunch of them, they get pretty addicting to do because it's just repetitive. Now I am going to show you how I attach what's it called? What are these things? An eyelet, so that you can hang it off of something. You can use any size eyelet. I use the small eyelet usually, but because I'm doing this on camera, I'm going to use one of my bigger eyelets just because when I use my small one, I need a hammer. So I'm going to use this, if I can get it open, this eyelet. And I think I'm actually going to choose, I'm going to put the eyelet on this because I haven't turned this into a pendant yet. So it's really simple. I punched through one of the seams. If I'm going to experiment more, I might move this down or move this up depending on where the eyelet goes. But I found that even if you punch over it, it's fine because the eyelet will kind of hold that seam in, the seam in. And I am going to, let me get this out of here. I think in another video, I'm going to show you different variations on how I do this, like different configurations and sizes and stuff. So I'm definitely going to leave a little bit of room there so that it's not too close to the edge. I'm just going to center it as best as I can. Make sure there's enough room on the edge and just punch through. Now it is going through a bunch of layers, so you might have to end up cutting some of this thread. And just kind of trim it up a little bit. All right, then you just put the eyelet through. It's a little off center, but of course that's okay. We're making junk journals, right? And I have not figured out the secret to using a crocodile, so I just try my best each time. I'm putting the ugly end into the tooth right there. And that did a pretty good job. Let me just do it one more time to make sure it is in either good, but just to make sure. And there you have it. It looks super cute hanging off of something. You can also hang it on the inside of the journal because these are very flat. And what I use is a ball chain, but you can definitely use a bowl pin or anything like that. And you would just string it through. And I think it looks super cute. All right, so I hope you guys give this a try. Like I said before, it uses up so many little scraps, both fabric and cardstock. Like this will make a whole bunch. And if you have scrapbook paper that you don't like, that's cardstock, you can just use it in this. Use up the ugly scrap paper. And if you have like a tissue box or anything, it's just very little scraps and little scraps of fabric. So if you liked this tutorial, please give me a thumbs up down below. If you want to see more videos from me, please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you make some of these, I would love to see them. I would love it if you could tag me on Instagram. My Instagram is the same as my name here. It's Lace Covered Skies with no spaces. So thank you so much for watching today, and I will talk to you next time. Bye everyone.